All right, everyone, welcome to another live episode of the Hype Man Podcast. I'm your host, Leroy Olaroy. Either way, it's your boy. And here today, I got my wife, Heather, to discuss... what's this episode about, Heather? Is it...
It's to discuss Migraine Awareness Month.
Migraine Awareness Month. For you guys, you probably know, for the ones that follow us, probably know a year ago is when we started this journey. And Heather...
Well, the podcast journey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
This migraine journey.
Yeah.
And Heather wanted to do something for Migraine Awareness Month. So here we are. And I know, Heather, you had me put in some quotes and some images. So, so what are we doing today?
So I wanted to kind of briefly give an intro before we do the images of why Migraine Awareness Month, or in general, migraine awareness is important to people like myself or others who have migraines and headaches. It's one of those things where people don't realize how debilitating they can be until you actually have one or multiple. So I have a little intro that I wanted to share that affects both me and my husband, because he plays a very critical role in the migraine lifestyle. And helping out when he can and when he is able. So here I put down, if we don't tell our story, how will others know? You never know if a single word or thought can help someone in their migraine journey. To make a difference is to speak out and advocate for ourselves. This also includes your spouse if they are willing to share or be vulnerable themselves, as many spouses play an important role in your lifestyle. In a webinar that I attended on migraines, I thought it was really impactful that the way they phrased this particular statement, and I'm going to share it here in this podcast. And so basically what they were saying is, in order to get more medications, you need more research. In order to get more research, you need to advocate and speak up. Because if you don't say you have migraines, if you don't speak out, you're not getting that research. You're not getting the research to help give you those medications or new medications.
Yeah, so pretty much, it's now it's up to the individual to be their own advocate.
Yeah.
And that's happened in my own case too. The days of waiting to hear what the medical professional has to say and give you advice and feedback that you want to hear. But if you want to take it even further, you have to ask those additional questions that you're seeking those answers to.
Yeah.
So.
That's a good point too. But I wanted to share that little tidbit I learned on a webinar. And so many people, migraineurs may sit back and be silent and think that's okay. But if we're silent, how do we get the word out there? How do we let doctors, how do we let research people, how do we let the community know this is very valid, this is very real, and in order to get those medications to help us.
Yeah, and sometimes I know when Heather's in a bad migraine and she's seeing her specialist, I used to be able to every now and then speak for her, but
because of communication
issues. Yep. But now they definitely want me to scale it back or not say anything at all. They really want her to focus on and be her own advocate for herself and not necessarily have me chime in. Now, once they're done doing their session and we got 5-10 minutes left, then I'll come back in, and if it hasn't been covered, the things that either she missed and I, noted down that, she missed that, I'm going to bring that up at the end of her session. But during, it's all her. They don't want to hear from me.
Yep.
Which I totally respect that. I get it too.
Yeah.
I get it. So.
It was a switch though for us because, when I am in a really bad migraine, and for people who don't know, I lose a lot of communication, or communication is jarred, if you will, and people don't understand, or I have memory issues or even brain fog issues. So I miss a lot of important information for the neurologist, and so he plays a very important role in my migraine lifestyle.
Yeah, but now when it comes to professionals,
Yep.
I can be there. They don't want to hear from me, so
Yeah.
I don't say anything until the end.
Yeah.
So but yeah.
So I just wanted to share that before we went over some fun, important images that can help bring the awareness out.
Yeah, and which is why too, any questions that Heather has for any of her medical professionals, she'll write them down. She'll bring them with, and then she'll look at which ones she's already said and which ones she hasn't had answered yet. So that's a good way too. I've never looked at it that way. And then usually I'll say my stuff, and then like if I get more than half of it answered, like I'm good. And then if there's stuff I forget, I'll just hit them up in the virtual My Portal or something like that. But no, Heather writes all her questions down. So for you migraineurs out there, that's a good tip. So don't try to remember all your questions if you can't. Write them down, bring them with. Yep. So okay.
Yep. Cool.
Was that it?
That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So it was very short intro. I just wanted to.
Okay.
It's Migraine Awareness Month for the whole month of June.
Yep.
So.
All right. So the first image here is why it's so hard to live with migraines.
What does this speak to you, not having a migraine?
Okay, hold on. Let me read it. What migraine management takes? Okay.
So that's all the red.
Which is all the red. Yep. What can actually? You know what? Let me go left to right. What migraine management takes? What insurance covers, which is in green.
The green. Yep.
What government red taxpayers' money covers is in the blue, and what I can afford is in the yellow. And what kind of afford, that could be bigger, that could be smaller, depending on your financial situation. What insurance covers, we all know that differs.
Yep.
And what migraine management takes, it takes all of it.
Yep.
I know for Heather, and this is not only just talking to, just in general, when her migraine hits, it takes over everything, where she'll do maybe 2 tasks, and then by those 2 tasks, like she's done, she's exhausted.
Pretty much.
The mood swings happen too with that as well.
And I'm okay with him saying this.
It's one of those things, because I live this with my wife, so I'm just letting you guys know out there that and everyone's different. Not everybody's mood might change, it might not, it might be aggressive, it might not.
And some people with migraines, they get more of the elevated response, where they are extremely happy and they're just like, oh, blah, 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 and they're
with a migraine?
giggly. Oh, yeah. There's some people who can have the polar opposite, where...
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're fun company,
Interesting.
Yep. So it's a variety spectrum, so to speak.
Huh.
So, unfortunately, the fun side, I get more of the mood swings.
Yeah, she gets the mood swings.
Yeah.
This speaks out to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we live this too, because a lot for us, it's what I can afford. So for those who don't know, medications, the newer ones are ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, thousands of dollars.
Yeah. And that's if your insurance, or the type of insurance,
even covers it.
Yeah, and if it doesn't cover it, it's over $1,000. And it's absurd, because as a migrainer, how are we supposed to be successful? How are we supposed to live the best quality of life without certain medications? So, for example, I do well, or I am more functional with Quilipta, but Quilipta, out of pocket...
It's over $1,000.
Yep. A month.
A month.
For 30 pills.
Yeah.
And for somebody, with one income family or, financial issues or
Or somebody has to work
Right.
multiple jobs just to keep their family afloat. Like
Yep.
that's
Yep.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, we need more awareness like this out there because there are medications that help or there's devices that help. Like the neuro stuff that hooks onto your head, like Cephaly. But that one itself is even $400+.
Yeah.
And they don't replace it if it's accidentally broken.
Right.
So, and it's not a bad thing. It's just what can I afford on top of other responsibilities?
Yeah, the other one, what insurance covers, like
Yep.
that can be pressing on a lot of people and stressful, us included.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then, like, the, government is a whole nother situation. I won't go too much into that, but, I mean, that speaks for itself. But what migraine management takes, like, for me and Leroy, sometimes we need to do our own thing to be able to recoup, and that's not a bad thing. Sometimes we just need to watch a Critical Role or movie together that won't flare up a migraine. And then sometimes we just need to take a nice walk with each other. Sometimes I need to go and be by myself so I can wear my ice hat, listen to sound therapy, do some gardening, being with the dogs, or just trying to make sure I keep this stable.
Yep.
As best as I can.
Yeah, and I don't take any offense to
Yeah.
it because I need to, distress myself after,
Yep.
working and all that stuff, and then, worried about Heather and
Yep.
making sure she's good. And like you said, when she's got her sound therapy, a ice hat, or whatever tools that she needs, and she's got them, and she needs that 1 or 2 hours, I'm totally fine with that. I don't take any offense to it. It's like, please, sometimes I tell her, please do your thing. Please take care of yourself. Don't worry about X, Y, and Z. Don't worry about the movie you want to watch. Like, I know one of the movies she wanted to watch was Avatar 2 because she loves Avatar. But then at the same time, she knows all those beautiful, flashing, gorgeous, colors and all that stuff. It's going to be a trigger for her. It's going to be a trigger. So it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, if you want to watch it, just you take all your stuff before, and then when you watch it, and once it's done, because it's over, it's almost 2 hours and 30-minute movie, or maybe a little more. After that, depending on when we watch it, just be like, I'm done. If you need to go lay down, go lay down.
Yeah.
Like,
and like the other thing that we have been learning the last month too, that could be helpful looking at this graph or this pie chart, is I create a lot of to-do lists in my head or things that I want to get done that day, or I feel like need to get done that day. And I physically can't. So it's one of those things where I am learning now to prioritize. I am learning to, okay, what needs to be done? Maybe it's 1, 2, 3 things. And if I feel like I can do another, sometimes Leroy has to scale me back and remind me.
Depends on what that 1, 2 is. That's it. And depending on what time of day she does it.
Yep.
No, usually I'll call and be like, hey, after this, you're done, because I see it. I see it in her face. I see it in her body language. It's like it's coming or it's already here. You're in the aura stage or prodrome stage.
Which is the first stage,
right? Which you're not feeling the full impact, but you're gonna feel it within the hour, and sure enough, just like that, there it is. And,
Yep. So this is why I'm saying it is a partner, a spouse. If you have one in your life, pay attention to what your spouse is offering or giving you. And that was very hard for me to do. That's also a loss of independence and certain things like that. So if you hear dogs, sorry. But it's one of those things where it was very hard adjustment. It's, we now tend to go by that, and I'm learning to accept that from Leroy instead of me pushing through. And, it's hard. And it's just a reminder that, okay, what does he see that I don't see?
Mm-hmm.
Or that I'm not willing to admit because I want to keep pushing.
Because I'll call I'll call it out, and I'll say it once or twice. And there's some times where you'll continue to push, and I'm like, okay, I'm like, Heather, we know what's gonna happen.
Yep. And if you don't have a spouse or partner, but you have a loved one that's
family member,
yep. A family member that's helping you, pay attention to what they're saying or what they see.
Yep.
And does it hurt your pride and soul a little bit?
Sure.
Just a little.
Sure.
But they're not the enemy. They're here to support you and help you.
Not the enemy at all. Just here to support. Yep. That is exactly it. Okay, second one.
So go ahead.
No, you start. Go ahead.
Okay, so this one here, things I grieve due to my chronic illness. Okay, so many people think that migraines is not a chronic illness, but in reality, it technically is if you're living with them daily or you're living with them weekly, like myself or others. Having freedom, being active, my career, friendships, disposable income, feeling rested, control over my body. I have lost friendships over my migraines, and that shouldn't be the case because you would think that if they're a friend, they would stay around. So there's been some, abandonment there because even though it's one of those things where friendships is just a chapter in your life. They come and go, and they serve a purpose. Okay, that's great to say, but at the same time, if you valued that friendship, like you would think, like, okay, despite health issues, they would stay. So, I'm learning to work through some of those things. And then the other one is having freedom. I used to be able to drive to far places like Naperville or an hour away without my husband. And I can only drive on a good day within my own community. And so without him. And, when I drive, when I come back home, sometimes that even, not triggers, but kind of heightens the migraine a bit because I have to use all my senses, all my, awareness, which is also the control over my body sort of thing. So you have that. Disposable income. I used to be able to work a full-time job. And I worked at one for 5.5 years. And so that was a hard pill to swallow.
Very hard. Yeah.
So right now, I can't work, and it is still a hard pill to swallow. It's just one of those things that I'm trying to accept that I can't work. And that doesn't mean for this time because migraines does not have a cure.
Right.
And so I really don't see myself working until there is a possible cure or a better medication that is out there.
Yep.
So
absolutely. Page 3. Yep.
You or me?
What?
This one right here.
Oh no, my chronic illness. Hearing me making plans. I'm sure you probably, a lot of you migrainers probably. Well, Heather's making fun of the cartoon, character. I'm pretty sure it's from an old Disney classic. I can't remember what movie, but we've seen that face before. I don't know if it's Peter Pan or.
I want to say yes.
Okay.
But I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
But it makes me want to go.
Yeah. You got this cute little smile going on there.
And sometimes you just need to have humor, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, what do you think when you hear this, when you read this?
When I read this one, so I love making plans with people.
Yep.
It is hard to make plans with people, especially in far advance. Migraines don't tell you when they're coming. Migraines come when they want to come. And when they do, sometimes they can be really bad migraine or a migraine you can tolerate and be like, hey, I'm good, we can go. Then there's times where there's those bad migraines that come where your body is not really functional, and the event comes and you're like, oh crap, I don't know if I can do this. And then you don't want to let down the friends or family that you've made plans for. And so sometimes you just suck it up, but other times you really can't and you have to cancel, which I've had to do a couple times. And so now, as a person with migraines, I do try not to cancel and go. We have a backup plan, that helps us. And so, but at the same time, you just don't know, because migraines, they have a life of their own.
Yeah.
So, what does this mean to you when you see this one?
No, it's it definitely, like you said, you are a person who likes to make a lot of plans, especially before your migraines heighten to the impact that they are now. But years before, you used to plan left and right, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and your migraines would come, but they wouldn't last long at all. But as you gotten older, they've gotten progressively worse. So now it's like, we'll plan stuff, and then the backup plan, but the plan going forward is now, I'll drive to whatever location, we'll go for like 2 or 3, maybe 4 hours, and then, once I see, within that time frame, if I see it in her eyes, or she'll either, not to be rude, she'll just, if we're talking to other people across the room or across the way, she'll just text me and point at her phone. I'll look at it, and she's like, oh, migraine hit. I'll be like, okay, we'll wait for half an hour, 45 minutes. Maybe if she can hang on to for another hour, and then we'll go. Just because, I don't want her to be so much, in pain from the migraine that it ruins, everybody else's, experience or mood. So, but the fact, our thing is, if we can just stay there for a good 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours, like, that's great. And then, depending on the location, if it's close enough to home, I'll drop her off and I'll go back to whatever event, or party or gathering. So, okay. Pretending to be okay is exhausting.
So, as a migrainer, it hurts. It's exhausting. And so, a lot of times people ask you if you're okay, but in hindsight, that's a general question, and they are concerned and they love, and same time, people don't like hearing the same thing over and over and over and over. Sure. So you just kind of say, I'm fine, I'm okay, and put on a big happy smiley face to the best of our abilities, and enjoy the party, enjoy the time with the person. The company. Yeah.
Now that our friends and family are starting to recognize her symptoms when migraines are coming, they'll know, Heather, you don't look right, or something seems off, and then she'll say, oh yeah, it's the migraine's starting, but I'm okay for now. And sometimes she might be saying it just because she's having a good time. She doesn't want to leave. She wants to stay a little longer. But yeah, I'm pretty sure pretending to be okay is exhausting to all migraineurs, because
Yep. And I technically, for me, not migraine wise, but just in general, I do better when I'm around friends and family.
Distraction.
Yep.
It's a nice distraction.
Correct. Like this past weekend, we were at Brookfield Zoo with some good friends, and we had a blast. We were there pretty much all day, and walking around on our feet, taking breaks as needed. Weather was hot, but I had my migraine kit. I had my medications. I had my neck fan. I had, lots of hydration. And I had him to lean on if I needed to. I had my friends to lean on if I needed to. And they also had the nice water spouts that were coming out where you could walk under and cool down.
Press a button and spray yourself down with some water. And then for the kids, they have the lily pads out. And,
and
or
so
splash pads, not lily pads. Splash pads.
Yeah, and and that's helpful to be around for those distractions like Leroy was talking about.
Yeah, because I noticed when we were there, like Heather said, the majority of the time from open to close, she had a migraine, but it never fully, blew up until later in the evening, like 9, 10 o'clock. Yeah. So the fact that the walking and the distractions was enough to keep that at bay for that long, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll definitely be going back to the zoo, especially this summer.
Yeah.
So, or probably going
forward.
It's we both love the zoo.
Right.
So.
And walking, like I didn't realize like how much walking could be impactful to at least my migraines, and that's something I physically want to pay attention to see if it keeps it tolerable or mild or whatnot. I do walking, but not anything like what we did at Brookfield Zoo.
we had over 16,000 steps.
13 plus.
13 plus?
Yeah.
Well, did you count from when we left till we got to the car?
Yeah,
okay,
that I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a lot. And then of course when we go, because my feet were hurting pretty bad after all that walking, because my feet I'm not used to being on my feet for that long either walking. But I had a great time. But at the same time, we'll go with just each other, and we'll be able, just us, and we'll be able to take our time. And take breaks and,
sit down, watch the
animals. It was one of those things like we just wanted to get in as much as we could, and we still had a third of the zoo that we did not see.
Sure. It's a big zoo.
Yeah, I think next time when we get into the entrance, we're gonna go the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And work ourselves the other way. So.
But and that's something I want to pay attention to.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't mean that when I'm not with friends, okay, I have migraines. When I'm with friends, I still have a bad migraine. But sometimes I just push through. I want to, I enjoy life, but I want to enjoy life more to the fullest. And, it's just one of those things where that day I noticed, okay, we were with friends, good friends of ours, and we did a lot of walking. Okay, is walking part of the answer, for my migraine lifestyle? Right.
It's one of those things where you got to get some walking and more,
than what I normally do.
Right, more than we normally do. But definitely going on walks with large places like that is it's good. It helps. It helped me, man. It let me know how I wasn't huffing and puffing at the end either. It was just my feet were just woo-wee, and I got new shoes, but man, it was time to get new soles. So, because I am a bigger guy, so but working on it.
That's okay. I love you.
Working on it. Let's see. Get the next one. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh, Jerry from Tom and Jerry.
Go ahead. I know this is one of your favorites.
Yeah, this one reminds me of Heather, because even before her migraines were fully blown and got more intense and all that stuff, she was always a night owl. Like I would need like she's the one that wouldn't go to bed till like 2, 3 in the morning. I'm the one that like, hey man, I'll stay up as late as 11:30, and then I need
midnight if you're lucky.
Maybe midnight. But on those nights where it's just like, hey, I gotta go in the office, nah, man, I shut it down at like 10:30 at the latest. But man, she's up, and she in the faces. The faces in the time lapse. That's Heather, man. She'll just be on her phone or be watching something from hours on end, and then like she'll fall asleep, and then her alarm will go off, and she'll be like, I only got like 2 hours of sleep. I'm like, well, I got to get ready for work. Can you take care of that? At least take the dogs out.
And I do.
And she does. And then when she does all that, she immediately goes right back upstairs and goes back to sleep. But this definitely reminds me of you, because her migraines hit at a later time. So how you look at it, late at night, early in the morning, however you want to look at it, it hits at the most random times during the night where, like, she'll be ready to go to bed. She'll be ready to wind down and all that stuff, because she's a person that needs her, sound therapy and all that stuff. And sometimes she'll have her sound therapy on and just, looking at her phone or whatever. And then I'm thinking, okay, she's getting ready to possibly fall asleep. And sure enough, nope, she'll get up, go downstairs, either grab some crackers or grab some water, like somebody who just is just well rested and ready to get their day going. Here it is, 3 in the morning. I'm going, man, I'm like, she gonna have a rough day tomorrow because she should be asleep. It's 3:15 in the morning, but
so the backside of that. Sorry, I cut you.
No, go for it.
Sorry, that's my bad.
No, it's totally fine.
So the backside of that, when he mentions being on the phone late at night, people usually say, well, that's your problem right there.
Right, correct.
So I want to expand on that just a little bit. So when people have their migraines happening during the day at night, some people need their phone for a distraction. Some people need that to not have so much pain in their head. So there's a positive, but there's also a con to that, because when you're on your phone, it's a distraction. But the con is, okay, that's affecting maybe sleep, it's not affecting sleep, or it's a part of, the sleep issue. And so
that's me. I believe that's part of the sleep issue,
right,
is that she is on her phone. If she has her sound therapy on and just close her eyes, I'm sure a lot of people say, "Hey Heather, why don't you just try reading a book?"
Yeah, and trust me, I have read books at I have read books at night without being on my phone. I've even had nights where I didn't have the TV on. I've even had nights where I wasn't even on my phone, and I still had migraines. I still was up. And so
the phone for, I get it. You use the phone for a distraction.
Yeah, but
even with your sound therapy, with the bird chirpings and the waterfalls and all that stuff.
Sometimes, yeah.
I'm about to say that stuff there. I'll be thinking birds are in the house, but it's you listening to your sound therapy.
But sometimes it does put me to sleep if I am listening to certain things. However, that's not consistent. That's not all the time.
Not at all. That's not all the time, no.
So that's a really hard thing. And so do I think there's also something maybe more happening in the brain that we don't know about? I do wonder that. I do get concerned about that. And we did a sleep study at home, and the sleep study showed that I don't have sleep apnea, which is fantastic. So we got that ruled out. But other than that, there's other things that I wonder too, if there's something going on that's not, because I'm on my phone, I can't sleep. I don't want people to automatically think this is why she's getting a migraine, and boom, boom, boom. But a lot of people who are in a bad migraine, sometimes they do need those distractions.
Yeah. So,
and that's not a bad thing, but the con is you're not sleeping.
Exactly. Exactly.
So like Leroy said, there's some cons to that. So.
Okay, number 6. A day in a life with brain fog. Not being able to concentrate on anything, wondering how you are supposed to work and complete your task. Your head feels like it's underwater. You've used that expression with me. Feeling like your head is filled with cotton candy. Never used that one, but that's a
good analogy.
You are very forgetful and worry that there is something wrong with your brain. You may even forget some things as it happens, or names of people you know, or your phone number or PIN.
I've done that.
Yep. Extreme exhaustion. You feel like a zombie and dragging yourself throughout your day.
Yep.
You don't feel real. Okay. More like you don't feel like you're like yourself.
Yep.
Everything feels foggy and dreamlike. You question your reality. I'm sure a lot of folks with brain fog, including yourself, say that to yourself. You feel like there is a bubble around you, distorting your physical reality. You feel strange and confused.
Yeah. So this one here pretty much covers it for those who don't understand brain fog. The only thing I can give are some examples. So a lot of times as a migrainer, I often leave my keys accidentally in the door.
Yep.
That's very unsafe.
Yep.
If you think about it.
Yep.
And a lot of times I'll forget to lock the door. Okay? So Leroy reminds me, did you lock the door?
Yep.
A lot of times I forget to give the dog their treats. I forget to accidentally give them their proper medication, and so Leroy follows up with a text reminder like, did you boom boom boom? Or I have to have things nicely laid out in the kitchen so that it reminds me, oh, I need this.
Yep. So when she looks on the counter, there's her notes that make sure, the dogs get this at this time, they get that at that time.
Yep. And there's times with brain fog, I've even forgotten to take my own medications.
Yep.
Where Leroy's had to remind me. Or I've had...
Rarely.
Huh?
Rarely.
Or I've had to be like, oh crap, I missed that one, and I note it down. And then other times I forget to throw things in the trash when I'm supposed to, right? And that's not saying we live in a dirty home. It's just, we catch it hours after the fact, and then we put it in the garbage.
Or if I catch it, I'll just throw it in the garbage. I won't be like, hey, you forgot to throw this in the garbage. Not just do it.
Another brain fog moment is when I almost threw silverware and the bowl in the trash. Rather than putting it in the sink. And then sometimes I'd put things in the fridge.
That should be back in the cupboards.
Yep. Or accidentally.
But I've done that too every once in a while. But I get it.
Not consistently.
No.
Yeah.
Not consistently. But there's sometimes I'll do it and be like, why did I do that? That was very foolish of me. But yeah.
Yeah. So those are some prime examples that I do that might help you, like with your loved one. And that image just helped explain a good part of what brain fog can be. And so for some people, brain fog makes them hard to put sentences together and communicate. And so that's part of it. I don't know if that's me per se, but that might be part of it for some other people. Yeah,
because I know with you, because I know you have learning disabilities too. But at the same time, when you're either your brain fog or your migraine, not sure which one, or maybe it's both, to where it's hard for you to process what you want to say come out, and like it'll come out in bits and pieces. I'll understand what she's saying. I'll fill in the blank for her. But then she gets upset with herself in that moment because she knows what she wants to say, but for some reason it's just not coming out right. And then that's when she gets started. She beats up herself for that, and I continue to tell her, Heather, just take a breath. Take a breath, breathe.
Yeah. So it's frustrating, but. It's one of those things you just have to work through. And for what you said, I think it's both the migraine and the brain fog.
Okay, how pacing works for chronic migraines. From this fully charged battery to this. To half charged battery to absolutely, hey, we're on our last legs here. And I know for you, and I'm sure for a lot of migraines, you might start out feeling good, feeling great.
Yeah.
With Heather, she'll do 2 tasks. I actually take that back. She'll do 1 task and be halfway with the battery, and then she'll do 2, and that red bar is beeping beeping halfway through the second task. And that's when I'm just like, okay, Heather, okay, after this, that's it. You're done. Whatever you have left. And I ask her, what do you have left?
Yeah.
Okay, I only have this in the dryer. I'm like, great. You have nothing to wash? No. After that's done in the dryer, you take that out or hang it or whatever, put it away. You're done. Like, that's it. You're not doing it anymore. And that's that. And that's hard for her to hear. But at the same time, I am looking out for her, and I'm looking out for me at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. And family, too, if we're around family. And the other thing, too, the flip side of this, I can't work, but that doesn't mean there are people who get really bad migraines like me who are able to work for whatever reason. They can work, but I can't. And that's totally different because it's a whole umbrella spectrum of migraines. And so it's not saying this person is better or that, or comparing. It's hard to do that.
Pain is pain.
Yeah, pain is pain. Thank you. That's better. And so people who are able to work, I want to throw this out there in case there is a spouse, family member that is trying to understand this. If somebody is working and they have a migraine that day and it drains them and sucks all their energy, think back to this graph, because then by the time they come home, you don't know if they have to take care of kids. You don't know if they have to take care of any household tasks or cooking dinner. And
other family members.
Yeah, other family members.
Their kids themselves, or maybe a mother, a mom or a dad that lives at home with them. Or
Yeah, so it's very hard and very draining. And my situation is very different. But we often talk about this in my migraine support group, how people have work on top of their migraines and they have to take their medications while at work or before they drive home. And by the time they get home, they have to do ice hats or ice packs or heat, whatever works for them to help calm it down. And, sometimes they can't even do dishes, or the basic needs for that day because work just drained them. And that's not a bad thing. It's just a reminder of saying, hey, hon, or hey, friend, family, do you need help with something? What can I do?
Yeah. And that's I ask Heather that every day.
Yep.
What can I help you with? Because I'm in hindsight helping her migraine out, and also helping my family out too at the same time.
Yep.
Always remember those who take the time to check in on you. Yep.
Yeah. So this one speaks volumes just in general. This one speaks for itself. I'm always checking in with members of my support group, making sure they're okay. And, that's not everybody, but that's, here and there. And then just so I don't exhaust myself. And then my closest friends who also have migraines. And then there's even close friends, like the one we went to Brookfield Zoo. She's been understanding of migraines, and she has been reaching out, more and more and asking how I've been. And it was really sweet. She told me she loved me at Brookfield Zoo, and, very genuine. And those things are nice to hear. So it's one of those things where keep that in mind. If you are a friend, reach out to them. Make sure that they know or they are supported, or that you love them, or, give them a hug, that whatever they need.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, or to vent.
Yeah. That too. Yeah. Absolutely. Right. Dear migraine friend, can you do me a favor? Can you go easy on yourself today? If everyone could feel, just for a moment, what we feel, they would wonder how we even bear it. It's hard to carry a migraine around and try to function like a normal human being. So please, go easy on yourself today. Sincerely, me.
Me.
Yeah, this one speaks out to me because this is something that Heather needs to not put so much consistent pressure on herself to get things done. Not only to get things done, just stuff and things just in general. She puts so much pressure on herself that she, again, stop putting so much pressure on yourself and allow yourself. If you can only get 2 things done, chalk that up as a win. There's another, there's the next day. You don't have to try to keep doing 5, 6 every. Well, before it was like 6 or 7 things on her list, and she would go berserk when she didn't get them done. But this one spoke to me out of all of them because this is what I would like Heather to say to herself daily. If it's not daily, weekly, but at least daily, like, please take it easy on me, because you put so much on yourself, which all that's going to do is get that migraine.
Yep.
Going.
Stress.
Right, stress, and especially the unwanted stress, a stress that that's not even called for. It's just like, again, I've been telling you, like, how do you just take a breath, work on your breathing, Heather. Breathe. It's going to be okay. If it doesn't get done today, that's okay. There's always tomorrow. And that's this one spoke out to me to where if I had to, I would take this quote and I would post it in our house somewhere.
Make it pretty.
And make it pretty and post it and be like, and you read it every day you get up.
Yeah.
So you can remind yourself, because you put a lot of unnecessary added pressure on yourself. I get it, because you compare yourself of what you used to do before your migraines got to the stage that they are now.
Correct.
And I get that. Hey, I get on myself to be like, man, how did I I didn't just the biggest I've ever been. I've never been this big, and I compare what I used to do, and like I get down on myself. I'm just like, you just gotta work that much harder to get the work with the weight off.
But I love you either way.
I love you. I love you too. But it's each one of us battles with ourselves every single day.
Yeah,
we do. Everyone does.
And we also recently heard an important message from my brother. So if you are listening, thank you, because it resonated with me a lot. Even though it was for somebody else, it spoke volumes to me. And he was saying, does it need to get done today? Mm-hmm. Does it need to get done this week?
Uh-huh.
In hindsight, is it that important?
Is it that important? Mm-hmm.
That it needs to get done.
Yep.
And so even though that wasn't a message for me,
but it resonated with everyone that I heard it.
Yeah.
It resonated with me. I was like, I hope Heather's hearing it.
Oh, I did.
Hey, I'm gonna take that, and I'm gonna pin it on me.
Yeah.
Like every time I think this has to be done today, or can it wait till later in the week? Oh, it can wait, but I'm not gonna worry about it.
So, if you are watching, thank you. And we love you.
Yep. And then I think it's the last. Yep. I'm not giving up. When I feel like giving up, I remember why I started and keep going. When life doesn't go smoothly, I remind myself that I'm being sculpted into the best version of myself. With each mistake, I learn a valuable lesson. Through each struggle, I grow. Into each challenge, I enter without fear of failure. I don't give up on my happiness or growth. I'm not giving up on myself. And that's the thing that we all gotta remember, that it's just to not give up. Things are hard, and life's not easy.
Yeah.
Even the ones that we believe have easier lives, I'm sure there's a part of their life that is hard. Like everybody goes through the ups and downs and struggles, and some fortunately more folks go through it more than others. Some folks have it harder than others, but the fact is just to not give up, because eventually some point, somewhere, there's going to be some win somewhere down the line where you can chalk that one up as a win and keep pushing and keep pushing. Or it's one of those things that you have an aha moment, or your lifestyle change, or something you learn, or something you do differently. Your body, your mind actually benefits from it.
Yeah.
To where you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna store that one. Actually, I'm gonna put that in the front of the box. So when I open up the drawer, and this is just me metaphorically, is that
metaphorically?
There we go. I'm trying to say that.
Hey, say that times fast.
That when you pull out your tools or your tricks that you need to psych yourself up or to bring in that positivity, you pull those out. And again, not giving up. And trust me, we've all wanted to give up at some point or something. And some of us have. I have, but I know I can't give up on Heather because Heather needs me. I'm her support system. And is there times where I'm just like,
I can't do this today, but I'm walking away.
Right, I can't do this right now. Yeah, absolutely. Like, and Heather gets on me when I say this, but we're all human. We're at some point. Everybody has their point where they're just like they want to give up, but it's either a vocal reminder or a memory or something that they heard or something just right in the spur of the moment. It clicks with them and just like, what's my reason for fighting? For a lot of folks, it's family, it's kids, it's
yourself.
It's yourself. It's whoever needs you or supports you. It can be somebody that I can't give up because so and so is counting on me. Like things like that. So yeah, this was a good one as well.
And I kind of want to piggyback off of that one too. So it's okay with this right here. If you are not doing well, if you are struggling, it's okay, but just don't give up. And so here with this thing is my neurologist, I absolutely love, and she supports me and helps me and gets me on the right path, and she gives us the right tools and suggestions. But here is the thing is, if you have to be an advocate for yourself, be an advocate, meaning, okay, your neurologist might suspect you're depressed because you're having a hard time with your migraines. If you're not depressed and you don't feel that you meet the criteria or the characteristics of it, speak up and then go to a therapist or psychiatrist to get evaluated, because that will help you in the long run. And so what happened in my situation, I had to be an advocate. And even though I have a hard time with my migraines, and they do get me down at times, and sometimes I do get frustrated and sad and pissy, and why me? But it's not saying I don't enjoy life. I love life. I am grateful to be living, even with migraines. It may not seem like it to anybody else, but from past history, like, I'm grateful. And so it's one of those things where the doctor didn't believe me. She thought I was depressed. And so I ended up getting evaluated for depression. And I'm willing to share that with you guys because we have to be our own advocate. And, I got evaluated. I am not depressed. I am physically frustrated of how my journey started taking a toll and going a different direction. And so she had written a very detailed, oriented letter for my neurologist so they can use that as backup support. And so in my notes now, and my neurologist now believes me, I am not depressed. That's a great thing. And if I am depressed, I am the first person to be like, okay, find me a psychiatrist, or I will find a psychiatrist. I will get on medications. I will do what needs to be done. Because life is important, and you only get one chance. And so, does it count for the mood swings? Does it count for all that? Sure, because, you don't want to give up. And sometimes I might say life sucks or I hate my life.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's true in that moment. In that moment, that's true. But that doesn't mean for the whole picture.
Mm-hmm.
I hate my life or life sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And does it hurt the ones that you're with or that you're loved? Like,
absolutely.
My husband, he doesn't like hearing those things.
Nope.
And he gets concerned, and I understand. But does it mean I'm giving up? No. I keep fighting, keep finding, what medications can work for my body, for my brain, and that sort of thing, or the support, whatever that might be. And so my support right here is my husband and close friends and family. And without my husband, I wouldn't be able to do this. I know I wouldn't be able to. It would be hard because he supports me in a lot of ways more than he knows.
Mm.
And so just letting you know, I always love you.
I love you too.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
that being said, don't give up. Rely on your friends. Rely on your family. And that's okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. We're gonna end it right there. Thank you so much for this episode of Hype Man Podcast for Migraine Awareness Month. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll catch you guys later.
Woohoo!
All right, have a good night. Thank you.